And I do have to jump for a call at 2:30. So if you want, I can start the networking part, but you might have to take over if I have to jump.
Okay, that'll be no problem.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Um, you see the Summer Intern Network, right? Okay, perfect. Um, so yeah, before we start, the usual where just want to remind you guys to apply for RE+ if you're interested in it. And we would love for you guys to join our Career and Committees Network if you're also interested in that. If you remember from Remy's presentation a couple weeks ago, that'll just be doing really short interviews with people in the industry and students just to get info out on what kind of jobs are available out there and like what paths you can take to get to those. Um, and as always, we would love for you to join our mailing list. I'm gonna go ahead, just in case, I'm gonna drop the link again to fill out the form, even though I'm sure everyone here has filled it out before, just to be sure. Um, and next week, I'll have another slide of this at the end, but we will have another company-driven presentation. We're still hammering out the details right now, but I will make sure to email you guys as soon as I know for sure. So that's another reason why it's super important to join our mailing list, so you'll know what every week will look like. Remy, is there anything else you'd like to add before I move on to my congratulations?
No, I think you've covered it all. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So before we start, this is a networking focused presentation today. So we're gonna go over a networking 101. But before we do that, I figured it would be nice to update you guys on some things happening in repairing schools. So if you have not seen lately, we just finished up our rounds of 2024 Renewable Energy Education Awards. So we just wanted to show you guys our awardees. We were very fortunate to get so many nominations this round, so we were able to award 7 people, if I can count correctly, 8 people.
That's 7 people and an outstanding champion. So that's a whole company.
Yeah,
And
so and we also just awarded our summer seed funding to Western Michigan University, Motlow State Community College, Texas Tech, and the Advanced Technology Institute. So that's super exciting, and we'll have more updates when their seed funding rounds end on their projects. We'll be super excited to share with you guys. But keep an eye out for next year when our Renewable Energy Education Award nominations go out again in the fall. We would love for you guys to recognize some of your educators if you are feeling so generous. Also, in your internships, if you find that the companies you've been working for have really been going above and beyond, you could nominate them for a special recognition or an industry champion. And if your school you think is doing an excellent job promoting renewable energy, then you should apply your school for a Repowered Schools certification. So
or self-nominate for student excellence, because
yes,
that's
that
always
too. So those are just our quick updates on the Repowering School sides. So if you're ready, Remy, we can get into our networking 101.
Sure. Do we want to do like just quick around the room, like say hi's? I don't haven't been on the last couple calls, so I'd just love to meet everybody. If you're, regular, I don't know you, but I'm Remy, the executive director of Repowering Schools. So Atharva, if you would like to say hi, or Zahir or Annie.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm a graduate student at NYU, studying power systems, and I'm currently working as an intern for SB Energy in the transmission and interconnection planning the department.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi Remy, I'm Zahir. I'm also at SBE interning this summer with the innovations programs. I'm actually enrolled in the graduate program of analytics at George Washington University in DC. Yeah, excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm kind of having technical difficulties and there might be some excess feedback, but my name's Annie and I am an environmental engineering undergraduate at Colorado State University, and I'm working with the Energy Institute and their outreach program.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for being here. Olivia, if you want to go to the next slide, my goal was just to do a little bit of a networking 101. And again, because of the holiday, we have a little bit of a sparse crowd, so we can kind of take this however we want to take it. But this is very similar to the training that we do before students go to an industry conference. But I thought it could be relevant here. So we're going to talk a little bit about elevator pitches, informational interviewing, and I believe we also cover how to make sure your LinkedIn profile is professional. So a lot of that stuff is just real good stuff to have prepared. So anytime you head into a networking opportunity that you're ready to go. So if you want to head to the next slide. There's just some real kind of high level tips for networking. How many of you guys have gotten into some of these networking situations where you're like rubbing elbows with, industry professionals and at like a conference or something? Has anybody been in those situations yet?
Yeah, there have been some networking events at my university, so a lot of different companies come to meet us, and then we tell them about us, and they tell us about their companies, what they do, and we try to find some common ground there.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
I think that after being in situations like that, one of the biggest things that I have noticed when I bring students to networking opportunities like this is the tendency to kind of huddle up and chat with each other rather than being brave and getting out there and kind of trying to infuse yourself into the conversations that are going on around you. So I think the biggest tip is to get out of your comfort zone and just be brave and walk up into that group of people and kind of try to be part of that conversation. I think that another big thing is, of course, being professional, making eye contact, but ask lots of questions. And of course, after you ask those lots of questions, you definitely want to make sure you're listening to those responses. And another one, and we'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about informational interviewing, but don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that when you meet someone in the industry, I think it's okay to ask for help, especially if that's like, can I contact you to learn more about what you do? Or, it's okay to have an ask. And then of course, be ready with your elevator pitch. And we'll talk more about elevator pitches and having that ready and what an elevator pitch looks like. And then after you meet somebody, you definitely want to follow up with them. And that could be with an email, but it could just be as easy as connecting with them on LinkedIn. But just make sure that there is follow-up so you can keep the momentum going for many of those conversations. All right, next slide. So informational interviews. So that it's maybe a little bit of a formal way of just saying, like, getting to know somebody. So when you go up to, a cocktail hour at a reception during a big conference and there's all these random people, walking up to somebody and just getting to know them is what we would call an informational interview. There's usually not an ask here. It's really just learning about the person that you're talking to, about their job, about their journey, about what drives their passion. And, again, that's the idea of asking lots of questions and then listening and then asking follow-up questions. So it's really just kind of a get to know you sort of situation. But some sample questions would be, what does a typical workday look like for you? Could you tell me about what you do at work or a recent project? What aspects of your job do you find most challenging or most rewarding? Do you work individually or as part of a team? Can you describe like a typical work-life balance for you in the job that you're at? So again, just trying to get a feel for who they are, what they do, and maybe if there's a connection there that can be made with what your interests are. And that's it for informational interviews. Does anybody have any questions, or has anybody used this technique before? Have any other words of advice for others?
I do have a slight word of advice. I think what shows someone you're talking to that you're truly listening is when you really do like follow the thread and ask them follow-up questions. Like, oh, you mentioned this. Can you tell me more about that? I think that really shows that you're like an engaged, active listener. And I think it typically makes the person on the other end feel heard and encourages them to speak more about themselves.
I agree, Olivia. That's a great tip. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is all about your elevator pitch. Who has an elevator pitch ready to go? You can like thumbs up on your screen, or you can chime in, however you want to do that. Does anybody have an elevator pitch ready?
Well, not like a prepared one. It's mostly like a few bullet points in my head that I go over when talking to someone, but nothing written down or anything like that.
Okay, that's definitely a good start. Annie or Tharva, did either of you have one?
No, so unfortunately, I never had an opportunity to even give an elevator pitch. So
Well, wait no longer. You're going to get to tell us yours right now. So yeah, so the idea behind an elevator pitch, the literal, idea is like, imagine you're in the hotel lobby, gonna go up to your hotel room, and you walk in with some big executive that you've always wanted to meet. And you have literally 30 seconds on your way up to your hotel room to introduce who you are, what you do, what you might want, and what they can do to help you, like some sort of ask at the end. So that's what an elevator pitch is. And you can also imagine it's like when we're walking through trade shows and you're on the exhibit floor and there's a company like Vestas or something, and you're like, I really want to meet this person because I really, want to connect for this project that I'm working on. This is like how you introduce yourself in 30 seconds or less kind of thing. So I think we should all come up with one, practice one. Maybe we can give you a couple minutes to like think about it, but I can share mine if you want. I'm Remy. I work with Repowering Schools, and we're a nonprofit that supports renewable energy education. I would love to connect with you about how you can support Repowering Schools and some of our amazing programming. Would you be interested in scheduling a call to talk more sometime? So there is my elevator pitch. Olivia, do you have one you want to share?
I similarly to Atarva had never been given the opportunity to practice mine. So when I started making this presentation was when I started practicing mine, but I can give it a shot for you all.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Olivia Leonard. I currently work as a program coordinator for Repowering Schools, which is a nonprofit that aims to cultivate and connect the renewable energy industry with the next generation. I think that your company will fit great with some of the programs at Repowering Schools. Are you available anytime next week for a call that we could set up?
Perfect. I love it. Zahir, do you have your bullet points? Are you willing to share?
Well, I think I kind of shared them already, but okay. Hi, I'm Zahir. I'm a student of analytics and a professional of the renewable energy industry. I've worked with a lot of renewable energy companies to work on innovative and data-driven solutions to combat the electric transition of our energy sector. And I'm really excited to look for opportunities at your company to find new and more exciting ways to come up with new solutions for the current problems. I would really like to set up a time to talk to you more about that.
That's perfect. Good job. Annie, do you have some ideas? Would you like to practice an elevator pitch on us?
Yeah, for sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry if there's like loud feedback. Okay, great.
Not hearing any feedback. You're coming through nice and clear.
Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Annie Makababi. I'm an undergraduate environmental engineer, and I'm currently interning for the Energy Institute outreach team to create clean energy projects for kids. I'm interested in gaining research and internship experience that will enhance my abilities, and I'm interested if you have a contact of your recruiter for me.
Perfect. That's great. Okay, Atharva, do you want to take a stab at it?
Sure. So, hi, my name is Atharva. I am a transmission and interconnection planning intern at SBE, and I have experience working in the transmission industry as well as the regulatory industry for NERC and FERC. And I would like to discuss if you have any opportunities at your company for me. So, I would like to connect with you sometime next week.
Awesome. I'll say all of those were great, guys. You catch on really quick, and I would be happy to meet any one of you at an event. The one other thing that Olivia mentioned in like kind of that informational interview idea, and I think you could always insert into your elevator pitch. It's nice to have kind of the generic elevator pitch ready, but if you were going up to someone that you knew, like a particular company that maybe has a product that you would really like to help do research on or something like that, in between, you know, numbers 2 and 3 there, after you've introduced who you are and what you do, maybe like a little like, oh, I'm super familiar with your product. I think it's great. I would love, you know, and so anything that you can do to make it more personal and show that you know who they are and that you've researched their company, I think always helps when you have that ask about, you know, following up. So just something to think about adding into that elevator pitch when you're in those situations. Okay, I have to jump on a call in like 5 minutes, so let's hit the next slide.
Okay, so we kind of jumped the gun on my time to practice slide.
Oh,
No worries. We can practice our networking after, that's no problem. But I don't have a slide on professional LinkedIn tips, but I would still love to hear
oh.
your wisdom if you don't mind sharing for us.
Yeah, no, yeah, sorry, I don't know. I must have done that in a different presentation, but yeah, I mean, there's some really interesting things to just really think about when you, because nowadays, like, yes, we all still have a resume, but when you meet someone, the first thing you very likely are going to do after you meet them is probably not send them your resume, but you're probably going to connect with them on LinkedIn. So you just want to make sure that your social media profiles are professional, that you have consistent messaging, that you pay attention to what you like, what you don't like, what you're commenting on, how you're commenting on things, because it's all part of your profile. And I think mostly LinkedIn is kind of looked at as the more professional platform for connecting with on a professional level with other folks in the industry or any industry. But you know, some people are still on Facebook or they're looking at Instagram or even TikTok. So just make sure that, you know, you're not portraying yourself in an unprofessional way. So just, just be careful with that. There's a lot of other tips that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a really good article in the Harvard Business Review about keeping up professional social media profiles that I would highly recommend you Google and see if you can find that. And if I find it later, Olivia, maybe we can put it in the follow-up email. But because resumes are, I don't want to, I haven't applied for a job in like a bazillion years, so I should probably not talk, but I feel like that a lot of what you do is fill out online forms and, with job experience and things like that, that to show your personality, social media tends to be your face. So you just got to be really, really careful about how you do that. I don't know. Are there any other questions about networking? And, hopefully if you come to REpS with us in September, you'll get to practice all this. Okay, Olivia, I'm going to jump. So
All right.
leave
Thank you
guys
so much
in
for
Olivia's
stopping by.
hands. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and happy Juneteenth.
Thank you, Remy.
Bye.
So on a scale from like 1 to 10, how comfortable would you guys say you are with LinkedIn? I know that might sound like a dumb question, but I've met quite a few people in my professional life who don't have it at all, or have never had it. And it's never too late to start if you don't have one.
Well, I think LinkedIn is pretty sorted already, I think.
Mhm.
But of course, there's always room to make it better, a little cleaner, specifically what uh, the aspect of, if we are going for the renewable industry, we should make it look like that. So tailor it more towards what kind of industry we're looking at. So that's what I had in mind.
Yeah, and I know for my personal goals on my LinkedIn, I
Mhm.
need to work on my consistency. They say like just with any type of social media platform, like the more often you use it, the better outreach it gets. So
Mhm.
I want to start making sure that I am doing like more frequent updates. A nice tip that someone told me was that um, any like academic accomplishment is really good to put on your LinkedIn, even if you have to do a project for class that you're really proud of, or a paper that you might have had to write that's really nice. You can put that on your LinkedIn to show your professional development as well, if
Mhm.
that's what I need to do to work on mine. I would love to hear if any of you guys have any like tips or tricks that you think would be super helpful that you didn't know when you first started.
Think as you mentioned, updating LinkedIn with any academic as well as professional achievements, and just to make sure that your LinkedIn is updated uh, whenever there is a change change in your academics. I think that's the basic that I follow. That I always keep my LinkedIn updated. That I think that's a good way to start.
Yeah, I agree. I still have to, I know I have like a checklist of things I want to work on, and I need to work on helping myself write a summary, which I have learned that uh, Chat GPT can be really nice when helping to be describing like what are good, you can ask like what are good components in like a job description, or what is like a generic job description for like a generic job. For example, like a cashier, and then it'll give you like generic phrases that most resumes will be like coded to look for. So something like that might be a helpful tip if you guys ever have to redo your resume or anything like that. Our goal is to have a someone from James Madison University's Career Center come give us a nice resume workshop soon. we're still working on that, but that is one of our future goals, so definitely stay tuned for that. But if you guys don't have any other tips or tricks, I would love to just practice networking with you guys if you want to ask me or each other some of these sample questions just to see where it leads, see how you can follow the thread in a conversation. Does that sound interesting to you guys?
Yeah.
Do you guys want me to start first, or would someone like to volunteer to ask?
Okay, I can go. All right, I would like to ask Annie. Okay. So Annie, if you could tell me a little bit about, your background and how you got into environmental engineering, and from that, how did that lead to your current internship at the Energy Institute?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question. I've always enjoyed the STEM field, and I am really motivated to, in my career, make an impact to the sustainability of our environment. And that led me to pursue environmental engineering as an undergrad. And with this background, I was able to earn an internship at the Energy Institute with their outreach team, which is promoting clean energy projects for children in the area.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how would you say environmental engineering ties into the actual renewable projects or other projects that are going on right now?
Certainly, I think environmental engineering culminates a lot of concepts that are important to the future world of sustainable energy and renewable energy. I think it's a multifaceted degree path that can expand to how energy systems work and how the clean energy infrastructure works.
Oh, interesting. So it has applications in all types of energy systems and how they operate on a bigger scale, or how they impact the environment in terms of emissions and
Yeah,
then
correct. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to relate to how the environment is impacted by our infrastructure, and it's definitely interdisciplinary in the way that I've taken mechanical engineering classes that teach more on thermodynamics and things that relate directly to clean energy.
oh wow. Okay, that's something new I learned today. Thank you for that.
Thanks for asking.
Yep. That's it from my side. Olivia, you wanna move it forward, or whoever it wanna takes it forward?
Yeah, Annie, if you wanted to kind of popcorn and ask someone else a question.
Sure. I'll jump to Artarva. Um, I'll ask what are your motivations in your career, and where do you see your career heading towards in the future?
Mm. This is the first time anyone has asked me about my motivation, but so I would say the career path that I have chosen right now was highly because this is a very niche field, and there are not many professionals working, um, in the transmission industry. Like anything related to power systems is considered a niche. So as I mentioned earlier, that I never got an opportunity to what do we say, practice my elevator pitch. That is because New York is more of like a financial district rather than anything related to electrical engineering or power systems engineering. So I think that was one of my motivators to get into this industry, so that, you know, uh, it being a niche, it would be a nice challenge to work in this industry. And yeah, so going forward, I plan on working with developers, basically, not necessarily any transmission owners, but developers, where I can improve my skill set, because learning opportunity will be very good at developers rather than independent system operators. So yeah, that is my plan going forward.
That's really cool to hear. So relating to your internship currently, how is it helping you understand and motivate you to get towards your goals?
So in this at this internship, I am getting both the technical experience as well as the uh, what do we say, like the documentation experience. I mean, to understand all the regulations that are in place in the power industry. So it's a mix of both worlds. But what clarity this internship has given me is that I first need to focus on my technical skills rather than the regulatory skills that I need to survive in the job. So, so yeah, so as I mentioned, going forward, I would like to refine my technical skills more uh, rather than work on both of them.
Yeah, that's great that your internship is providing that experience. I feel like I could also be improving my technical skills. And that's something that's a weakness for me too. So that's really good you're getting that experience.
Thank you for asking the question. Although I'm curious, how has learning about thermodynamics helped you?
Sorry, can you say that again?
I said I'm curious, how has learning about thermodynamics helped you in your field?
Oh yeah, it's helped me a lot so far going towards my internship. Um, because I think it really helped me understand how energy systems work and how energy is kind of stored and transferred. And I think with that, like foundational understanding, I'm able to have an easier time, like in a way, like simplifying these concepts so that they can be shared to kids.
That's great. Sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
Annie, I actually would like to ask you a question if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
How has like working with kids been for you with like you said, like you have these very like high level topics and techniques or whatever, and you have to sort of explain them on a very digestible level. So
Mhm.
how has working with kids really helped you to like solidify your understandings?
Yeah, certainly. I think I've learned a lot from it because I also work with K through 12 students. So I do have to make these projects like differentiable among age groups. So, I mean, still high schoolers can be very high level and I can deliver the concepts at a very high level. But whereas, the younger kids, I do have to very much simplify it. And I think it's really neat for me to see um, how the how to make these topics more like simple is cool because it gives me a deeper understanding and it makes me careful with how I want to, deliver the concepts. And it makes me check on if I like fully understand what I'm talking about. And if not, I'm able to research and have a full understanding of like what, professionals and professors are saying in their research. And then I can, deliver that towards kids by, you know, making it digestible, like you said.
Yeah, it seems like a really great learning experience. I'm assuming that when you are in the industry that you're not planning on continuing to work with children?
Yeah, correct. It's not really a career aspiration of mine, but it has been really eye-opening to me and a great learning opportunity. And this is my first internship, so I'm just grateful that I've had an experience to get an internship.
Yeah, totally. I definitely understand that. And when it comes down to it, any opportunity is better than no opportunity, even if you might not see in the moment how it perfectly aligns with your aspirations. So I think it sounds like an amazing opportunity for you. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Olivia. And
Yeah.
that's the thing too, is it's kind of opened my eyes to the clean energy industry, so that's been really special too.
Yeah, did you do or was sustainability an aspiration for you before this internship or
Yeah, definitely sustainability as a whole, but I don't know if I've ever considered the clean energy field since it is a lot more dominated by electrical and mechanical engineers. But I think even through this, like last week was eye-opening for me on these calls, just to see where I fit in the space of clean energy.
Yeah, I very much relate to that since I have a degree in anthropology. I don't come from any type of technical science background at all. So I have often found that I sort of struggle to find my place within the industry. I'm still going through the growing pains. Um, but the hardest part for me is when I am in conversations with people and I've discovered that I simply don't have the same base knowledge as other people. But it's really helped me develop the skill of like faking it till you make it, like
Yeah.
if that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. Like, um, exposure is better than no exposure, opportunity is better than none. So you just have to take everything in stride. And, if you don't know what you're doing now, you'll figure it out on the way. That's my whole motto lately.
Yeah, I totally understand like where you're coming from too. And I think like it's really important to have a very diverse group of people working on these kind of sustainable issues in clean energy. Because as we're like facing some really challenging and pressing issues, I think having a diverse background of, you know, educated people and scientists is really important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the more diverse your workforce is, the more diverse or the farther you'll spread your work. Um, Coming from anthropology, I'm really good at working with people. I'm really good at being like culturally sensitive, and I've developed a lot of my interviewing skills and like communication skills, which comes to help me in this job for like right now, for example, or reaching out to people, doing phone calls. Um, so I can see like where even if you don't necessarily know how you might fit in, like you will be surprised what little like pockets become available.
Yeah, actually, I want to chime in here. So what Annie said and what you said, the same, I was actually thinking the same thing. So even if you have, all the technical solutions available and everything else, like, yeah, in the technical aspects, to actually implement something to solve a problem, it requires a lot of people from a lot of different perspectives to get something done, right? So even though it might engineers might have a hard time um, giving you breaking down the concepts for everyone else in their industry, um, but they do know that they need all people from all walks of life to see something through.
Yeah, definitely. And from what I've discovered in my studies is that you can never be too sensitive. You can never be too understanding or aware of other people's situations, whether that be like on a personal or community-based level. So I think having a interdisciplinary workforce is actually very vital to the next generation of industry that's coming about. But I feel like I've brought us on a slight tangent. Does anyone else want to practice either answering questions or asking questions?
I think we can move forward. What do
Okay,
we have next?
well, I actually don't have anything else for us today. Like I said earlier, next I will let you guys know as soon as we have all the details hammered out. We're just waiting on one or two more things before, and I don't want to get ahead of myself and have to correct. Anyways, so I will let you guys know who will be presenting to us tomorrow, or sorry, excuse me, next week. I would really, really strongly encourage you all to apply for the REpS conference experience. I think it would be really great place to practice your networking, and it's a great opportunity to meet with people in the industry who you never know will be able to provide you an opportunity or a chance to meet someone. So that is at the front, the QR code is at the front of this presentation, but I will also send it out in the email. And I just really highly encourage that.
Yeah.
But does anyone have any questions or comments before we wrap up?
No question. I just wanted to thank you for sending that email out, answering my questions about the REpS conference. So I'm definitely going to be applying for it. But again, there were some questions in I got through half of it, but there were some questions in the form that I felt like deserved more thought. So I paused there,
Yeah.
but I am going to complete it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you taking the time to give a strong answer that you're proud of. I think that's very important too. So I really look forward to seeing your applications here, and I appreciate you taking the effort and time to apply for it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. I actually really enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you guys and your motivations and your aspirations. I look forward to our next networking opportunity where we can do this again. I will see you guys next week. Thank you again so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a happy Wednesday and a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.